Hey Tophees, today's guest is Elizabeth. She swims every day and loves to eat healthy. Last month, she quit her job as an esthetician to pursue her lifelong dream of acting. We'll find out how well she prepared for this transition, and you can learn what to do or what not to do if you want to quit your job and pursue a new career. If you're enjoying this content, please subscribe and share with others to help the channel grow. Thanks for watching. I'm Topher, and this is Financial Fit. All right, Elizabeth, let's start off with your age, your rough income, and then where you live.
I'm 41 years old. I live in Burbank, California. Right now, my source of income is I'm a licensed esthetician and I do facials and massaging. So it's coming from that. I most recently stepped away from my full time position to kind of concentrate more on my lifelong aspiration of getting more involved in the entertainment world. I've had to make some adjustments as far as where my finances are going because it's a little tight right now.
Let's jump into some of your statements you sent me. I see sent me two statements. Is that two debit cards?
Yes.
Okay. I noticed that the debit card, sometimes you use both in the same day. So is there like a system to when you use one or the other, or?
Grab the card and swipe it.
Okay, gotcha.
So, but it also depends on which one has a larger balance. I'm trying to get a little bit better about utilizing the app on my phone to check the balance a little bit more regularly. My mom, I'm very blessed, but also it's probably not a good thing because I rely too much on her being like, hey, you're running a little short, or for getting an email coming through saying that your finances are running low, your balance is running low. My mom works for the debit card that is attached to the Wintrust Financial. She's the assistant vice president of commercial banking.
Yeah, I saw that one.
So she's always keeping an eye on it.
We can talk more about plans going forward. I do understand your mom works in that company, so that's why you want to use that debit card. I just don't know if they have more technology to not just email you when the balance is low, but also maybe text you, which is a little bit easier. Because I did notice in February you had two overdraft fees. I know Wells Fargo, Chase, Bank of America, I think they all have some level of texting reminders too, where's the
Okay.
threshold, and then they can let you know to fill it up. I see in February you had some expenses. Looks like your Dodge car has some repairs and maintenance. That was the main big one. Looks like American Credit, you have a payment for that, your car loan. Okay.
Yes. Mhm.
So on a car loan, is that for your same Dodge?
It's for my Jeep. Yeah.
Okay. And do you know how the balance on that?
20, I believe it's 20, it's just a little under 23,000.
Okay. And did you know the interest rate and how much you're paying each month for that to pay it off?
I don't know, but it's pretty high because my credit score isn't very good.
Yeah. Right now, I guess your Dodge, I'm guessing you bought it in the past 3 years.
Yes, I bought it in 2020.
Okay, so I see a $400 or $500 payment each month. It might be a 5-year loan, you think? Does that sound right?
I believe it's 7. I had to roll over a balance from the car from before, so that was added on to it. So that's why it's a little bit of a, they stretched it a little bit longer.
What's your attachment to the car? Do you think you would be okay getting a car that's a little bit not as new and cheaper and having no balance, or you just love your Jeep and you want to just keep it?
Yeah. Well, I'm not in a position where I can get a less expensive car just because it was hard for me to even kind of get the loan because my credit score is it's not in a good place right now. So I'm trying to recuperate it. So for now I need to just kind of bite it and deal with
Okay.
what I have. But yes, I do love my Jeep. But for financial reasons, if I were in a better place, yes, by all means, I would get something that was a little bit of a lower payment.
There's probably some creative options I might be able to find. For example, you do sell it for a profit since cars are very tough to buy right now, and you can buy a used car and no balance. Of course, I know people love their car, they might splurge on something here and there, and I don't want to take away your joy, but just kind of explore the options and just keep an open mind for that.
The car most likely it's been in an accident. I had a semi hit it recently, so it's not in any condition where I would even get much back, even if I did. So it's as much as I would love to be able to go down that route, I don't think that it would probably take a great miracle for something like that to come about. And also, it is a 2012. It's an older Jeep.
I gotcha. So it's a
So it's
2012
not
model,
even
but you
brand
bought it
new.
in
Yeah.
20. Okay.
So the damage right now, is it your insurance is covering it and you gotta go in the shop, or was it maybe your fault and that's why it's not covered? Is where is it?
No, we're going back and forth. Unfortunately, because it was a semi truck, it's a little bit harder to get liability from them. So they're dealing with the other insurance company or even trying to locate it because when the semi hit me, the guy wouldn't even get out of his car.
Oh,
He
no.
wouldn't do anything. So I took pictures and we're going off of it's really not a fun situation.
That's
I
how
had
you,
$1,000 deductible too, and I'm not in any position where I can put out the $1,000 at this point.
so I see there's a lot of internet and phone transfers to your account. So is that
Uh-huh.
like your mom or your friend, you split the bill with them?
My
Okay.
mom. Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, no, what it is she's taking money from my other account at the bank where she's at and then transferring it over into the
Overall, you don't spend
mm,
too much on food and shopping. I just see like you go to Target sometimes and you go to Whole Foods and Erewhon a couple of times, which are a little bit more expensive grocery stores, but not really splurging spending like $1,500 when you go there. And if you're spending 100, I might recommend to go to like Ralph's or Vaughn's or Smart and Final. I would say that's okay. Is there a reason why you prefer those shops? Like, are you buying organic or
I'm also a little particular about my surroundings, and there are some stores that I don't like going in there because it just kind of creeps me out. And there's, just it's messy, it's dirty, and also the people that you're surrounded with. I mean, yes, I know we are in LA, and there's going to be some interesting people. Not to say that we're not interesting ourselves, but I
right?
prefer to go to like Whole Foods. I feel like the employees there are, very kind. They know me. Air One was over by where I used to work, and so I would go over there like on my breaks and get some of my groceries while I was there. But I will not buy produce there. I'm not going to spend $10 on two bananas when I can go to Whole Foods and get five bananas for like $1.50. So, and I'm not super particular on organics, but I am, a little bit more particular like on, the milk alternatives that I drink and like coconut milk, almond milk. And I'm not going to buy some cheap brand that's chalked up with sugar over at Ralph's.
Right, right.
But there are, there are certain things where I can obviously forego them and to go with something a little less expensive. So I'm flexible with that.
Okay, no, that's good to hear. I see you have some income from a denim lab. So is that your?
That's
Is
where I used to work. Yeah, I'm not
Gotcha.
there anymore. No.
I think I have a good idea of your financial situation. I think so far, just try to avoid the overdrafts. I mean, you might feel a little stressed out when you see it go from like 1,000 to like the hundreds, and then you have some. I don't know, we're getting to like the teens or the $2 left. Do you feel a little stressed out when you see that, or you think
Um,
the money so far?
I panic. I'll be honest, I panic because I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I mean, my car isn't exactly the most gas efficient. So I always have to have a little bit of balance to fill up on the gas because I'm not a homebody at all unless there's something that's keeping me here like this, or if I have a client here and they're getting a massage or a facial, or if I have a recording studio, I do voiceovers or doing something like that. But I'm about, I love getting out, I love going to Disneyland. I have a key pass, so I like to hit that up whenever I can, which isn't as often as it used to be. I'm learning to adjust to sacrifice some things because I have a lifelong dream that I'm trying to pursue, and in order for it to be successful, we got to make the finances work.
Yeah, so I guess going on to your dreams. So the structure I help others with finances, I call it the 15 levels to financial freedom. So there's different levels and it helps gauge where you're at, but also shows you like there's steps in the future look forward to. So right now, level one, the idea is it's called vivid vision, which is what's your dream life? What would that look like?
Well, I would love to be able to provide for my family, meaning I have a mom who's been widowed for 26 years. She has sacrificed so much and given so much to me financially, and it's
Mhm.
time for her to be able to retire and, be able to spend more time out here. And I would like to be able to put my money into a mortgage opposed to a lease when the time allots for that. Honestly, I have so many entities that I feel so strongly about, but it's all where God leads me, and I'm open to wherever he takes me, and I'm open to learning because that's the only way that you can get guidance. And one of the things that I've always struggled with that has kept me from succeeding in anything that I do is my money. Even doing this is kind of like having a little bit of like, oh my gosh, I'm letting somebody else tell me what to do with my money, and I've never really allowed for that. So it's the only way that you're gonna get success with anything is
Right.
gotta manage your money right.
And I'm glad you've been open to this, and I hope I can kind of give you some pointers. And of course, at the end of the day, it's your decision.
I like to swim, so it's important that I have an indoor pool and an outdoor pool. So anywhere I can have indoor and outdoor pool, we're good. I would love to be. I mean, I would absolutely love to have a house, a townhome. I'm not about that. So I would house, and I want a house where you're not going like this and be like, "Hello, neighbor," you know. So I would like to be most likely, somewhere like, oh, I don't know, Malibu.
Ballpark, do you know how much the house would want would cost? If you have an indoor pool, outdoor pool, or at least just one pool in Malibu or Calabasas.
Well, let's just put it this way. So, if I'm not in a market to be driving an Aston Martin, I'm not going to test drive it until I'm ready. So, I haven't really checked it out until I'm like at that place, because it's almost like I don't want to, be like, I can't, not right now, and then looking at it, because the market changes so often. But I mean, you're right. There has to be some sort of a ballpark figure that I have in my mind so I know what I have to work towards. But I was going with that mentality of like, I've learned the hard way. You do not get behind the seat of a vehicle that you have absolutely no business in driving.
The reason I put that question is, as we go down this journey together, we'll really dive deep on what you truly want in your life. So, for example, if you guys spend a lot of time, working on your acting, getting more voiceover gigs and all that, maybe you don't want a townhome right now, but it might work out where you have a townhome that fits your lifestyle, has the pool and everything you want, but you're not stuck with a huge mortgage forever or for a long, long time. Plus the mortgage, which is going to be like, 40, 50,000 a year, right? A month almost. So
Yeah.
it's quite expensive. Plus California has very high property tax. And as we go on this journey together, we'll see like, is that worth it, or would I rather have this instead? So yeah, that's something to keep in mind for that. It sounds like your overall goal is to pursue your entertainment careers. What's that kind of looking like? I know you just kind of started wrapping that up.
Well, I'm representing myself, so that gets rid of that whole agency fee thing. But no, I mean, I am looking for representation because obviously that gives you more exposure. I've been, I've done a lot of auditions. Having the capability of doing it remotely makes it, well, it's a benefit, yet it's not, because the competition is even greater now, because now they're accepting people from, you got an audition here in LA, but somebody in New York is sending it in. Whereas before it used to be like, well, if you can get here by blah, blah, blah time, you can look at you. But it's not like that so much anymore. So it's very challenging. There is a lot of opportunity. Doesn't help so much that now the writers are on strike, but everybody's fair end, so I support it, but yet you feel the hit at the same time. So I would say right now it's tough to gauge, but it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. I don't feel that it's impossible.
Yeah, I think in anything, you want to pursue your dreams. It's gonna be, maybe slow or tough in the beginning, but as you grow momentum, you might find that one contact that's like, oh, I really like Elizabeth. You got to keep bringing her back in, and then that opens a lot of doors. So definitely, you need that one big break in.
So right place or right time.
Right, definitely, and more exposure, more chances. It's all kind of luck, but also preparation. So, and your plan to shift your career to entertainment. What was your kind of security net or emergency fund that you want to prep with? Did you have some money saved up beforehand, and you said, okay, I have a few thousand. I'm going to give it a year, and then hope for the best and reevaluate in a year? Was it kind of quit your job and then decide to go with this? Like, what was kind of the thought process for this?
Honestly, I've been, it's inside of me ever since I, could, I mean, I don't know what genre you were born in, but I used to have to stand up, go up to my TV and turn the dial. So ever since
Yeah, no,
that era, I have always wanted to be on a show, be in a movie. My passion for it came from the fact that I had a lot of anxiety, panic attacks, or in a lot of some family situations where it was like the one thing that just kept me going was knowing that I could get home from a hard day at school and just turn the TV on, and for 27 and a half minutes, because we all know how, or 20, yeah, 27 minutes, because we all have, commercials and everything. I could be a part
right.
of the Tanner family, or Perfect Strangers, Friday night, the TGIF. I always look forward to it. So I always wanted to give back what was given to me, which was an escape from my world and going back to my world and being like, hey, it's not that bad. At least I didn't drive a vintage car through my kitchen window, and and just make people laugh, and because that's something that I always did as a kid, because I was always a klutz and a goofball, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to be embarrassed by this, so I'm just going to play this off. So I'll be like, I totally meant for it to go that way. I just always wanted to put that in the spotlight in any way that was to me. I mean, I love pulling pranks on people, but doing it in a way where it's brighten their day, opposed to being like, man, you really got me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like to do that with my family, but and I'm
Nothing
I'm
major.
pretty gutsy. So if you were to say, hey, let's take this and let's go skydiving, I'd be like, let's go. So I don't say no to anything. If it scares me, it's worth it and I'm gonna do it. So I
Gotcha,
want to
gotcha.
say
No,
it's
no,
just always been in me to do it, and I've always kind of let fear get in the way and be like, well, what if this happened, what if that happens? And because of certain circumstances that have come up to this point, I have been kind of it's kind of like God saying, okay, you want to make this happen, you got to like focus and concentrate on this, because there's so many things that have distracted me, and it's like I keep trying to spread myself doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that. But if you solely concentrate on something, even though you're going to take a hit, you're going to make a sacrifice, you're going to miss out on sometimes with your family, you're going to miss out on being able to go out for sushi 2-3 times a week. It's something that you got to do if you want to make your goal happen.
no, that makes sense. Yeah, I see your thought process and everything. I think overall, like you're not spending too much food, groceries, shopping, and I see like your background on how you thought about pursuing your entertainment careers. Let's kind of shift gears and talk more about like forward thinking. The main thing is just and the increase your income. So just get more gigs, find more options to make some money, and then just avoid having your debit card being in like under $100 on either of them. 'Cause that's I feel you when I was looking through it, I was like, oh no, like we're going down. And then I saw in February we had some overdrafts. I also overdrafted a couple of times, and I was like, how come no one told me this? And yeah, it's definitely tough. Besides the car loan, it looks like you could probably pay it off in a few years. I think you said you had a 7-year loan back in 2020. Do you have any other debt, whether it's credit card debt or student loan debt or personal loans?
Yeah, some old credit cards. And then I'm trying to think. Most of the, when we all had to take the hit, when a lot of those that were already paid off through the government, like as far as my water and electricity bill from, early on. So I mean, I'm pretty much in good status with that. My phone and my internet were also an issue, but now I've been able to have those covered. Currently, they're gone. It's just whatever balance I have left over from before. And I think most of them are gone by now. I think there's maybe nope. I think gone. I was trying to remember if I still had. Oh no, I still have one more left.
Okay. So the credit cards you have, one's still open, but you have maybe
It's
a
not
couple.
open. It's just closed. I just have a balance I have to pay on
Okay.
it. Yeah,
Roughly, do you know how much of that?
300 and something.
Okay, so it's not bad. I mean, it's still debt, and credit card interest is quite high, but it's not like in the thousands. And then I guess just your goals with your career, retiring your mom, and then being a homeowner with a pool, swimming, one day. So that's kind of
Yeah, I gotta swim every day.
That's good to hear. No, it's good. So
I gotta have room for my home theater.
yeah, no, theater full. That sounds. I mean, you have a theater
Yes,
outside
I
when you're
need a big
swimming too.
screen to
So
play my video games on. So,
as I mentioned, the 15 levels to financial freedom. The
Mhm.
first one is your vision. So you're gonna write out, your goals, so like retiring your mom, your home you want, your entertainment careers, kind of writing out what really matters to you. The second level is around personal finance inventory. So there's a list of all your accounts, so your credit card, debit card accounts, any credit card debt you have, and then your core loan, so that you kind of see what money you owe and then what money you have saved up. And what I do want you to consider down later this year is opening up accounts to save money. So whether it's a brokerage account to invest money.
I said, that's foreign to me.
Yes, yes, yeah. So we work towards that together. But the idea is we don't want to
Thank
have
you.
your debit card go up 1,000, 2,000, and then after I think your rent is about, I mean, it's a 2,000 is a month for rent from Greystar.
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah, so we don't want to see like 2,000 and then like when's the rent due and it goes down to like $20. I don't know, and then you get paid. So we want to fluctuate, but we also want it to go down because you're putting money into savings and investing, not just rent.
Hmm.
And then the third level is around budget. So I know right now like your income's a little fluctuating. I think what you could do is use maybe the past 3, 4 months on average your income and use that as your monthly income for your budget, and
Hmm.
then break down all of your debts, payments, your rent, your utilities, food, shopping, all those things there. And I think what we'll find is that it's going to be very close. Where right now you're not saving any money and your account's going low. So we need to figure out where's all this money going and then find ways to increase your income, but also cut out what you can cut out. Right now, you're not spending a ton of money on wants. Overall, you're pretty good on that. I mean, even if you shaved off like $100, it'll help a little bit, but not a ton. But we really need to find a way to get rid of this the credit card debt because it's going to start compounding and making you pay more and more over time. So that's kind of the next step for you, and I'll write this up for you for homework. I think the other thing for you to consider is at what point, I'm not saying give up on your dreams, but I'm just, being realistic. At what point will you say, like, I tried this out, I tried to pursue my dream, it's just not working out. Like from this path, might not be making enough money to retire your mom or start saving. And if you went back to your job, start saving money, start helping your mom retire, and maybe there's some balance where you have your job, but you do some jobs that pay a bit more. So I'm not sure how that works, but maybe you have a few clients instead of a whole bunch, but those few clients pay a lot more than other people. And then you split that with your entertainment career. So maybe you can do both and versus, pursue just one where your credit card debt might go back, interest going to build up. And then we don't want to have a month where you can't pay off your car loan. And we don't want to have a month where rent's due and you have no more money to pay it off. So right now, on the top of your head, at what point would you kind of consider, having I don't want to call it balance, but maybe considering going back to your old job, maybe at least part-time, trying to find maybe higher paying clients and then try to balance that with your entertainment career in the year? Okay. No, no,
If
that's,
I don't start
that's,
seeing far as like either I'm getting more clients that I have with my massage and esthetician, because to be honest, I haven't even really fully blown been going at it for not even a month. So I really haven't given it enough time. But I want to
gotcha.
say 6 months just because I don't want to trying to make something happen and making my mom suffer. Oh, because if she's trying to cover for me on the short side, which she shouldn't have to. I don't want that. And so I would say 6 months.
We're gonna discover some things together. Maybe in 3 months, it's picking up, but not quite as much you expected. But you're getting consistent work, and maybe you go back to being as assistant for a little bit. It's part time, while you make some more connections in the entertainment industry, and then wrap that up later on. So there's a lot of back and forth, and I don't want you to feel like you failed because you went back. I don't want you to think that way. Entertainment's tough. Like I tried it. I have friends who tried it. They went back and forth, and then they found a balance that works with their goals. So if it takes a little bit longer, then it takes longer. But we don't want to be in a bunch of debt, which takes a decade to pay off because you pursued something and didn't have balance. So I'm glad you're open to it. We're just trying to see how these things pick up in the next 6 months. So I think you have a really good plan. I think your goals are reasonable. I think, as I mentioned, there's 15 levels. Right now, after you do levels 1 to 3, you have a
Uh-huh.
good foundation, and then we'll start working on the next levels where you start budgeting more, saving more, and start investing. And I'm really excited to see how that goes. And any questions right now for me in terms of the plan, maybe anything that I didn't ask about any debt you have or expenses or things that I didn't see on your documents. The main thing for that is when you're working a budget, I just want to check, make sure that we're not missing those numbers but we don't want to go years with extra debt, especially credit card debt. It's gonna maybe it's 300 right now, but it might compound to a lot more.
Well, I appreciate that you've given me some hope in being able to save money, because that is, I've tried to do it in the past and I've always been short-sighted, so I've always had to dip into my savings. So it's always good to hear that somebody believes that it can happen. And the important thing is that when I have that savings, it stays there and I don't keep trying to pull from it and then be like with the aspirations of putting it back, because it just never happens. And that's something that is really important to me. In fact, that actually, I can honestly say, is more important to me than or having a townhouse, because without that, nothing else is going to be possible.
And when we explore that, we want to build a savings that can be used as what I call a emergency fund. So in your case, when we got a car accident, $1,000 deductible, you shouldn't sweat when that happens. You're like, oh, I have money saved just for this case, right? And
Yeah.
then separately, you have money saved to invest. So whether it's stocks, real estate, a business, whatever you want, you have money going there, building equity, and that would help both you and your mom retire. So
Yeah.
definitely working together.
If I were to turn this around, you would see my little kingdom back here. I have a bunch of Lion King stuffed animals. That's one of my favorite.
Ah,
And then I've got the original Mickey. He's sitting on a little wood chair over here. And then I've got Bolt, and I always got twins of the stuffed animals, so I have mostly two of each. So I have two Nalas, two of the white cat with the pink bow from Aristocats, and then I have two of the Dalmatians from 101 Dalmatians, and then I have two or three Simbas. So I'm right there with you.
that's good to hear. Yeah, I was gonna ask you, you like Disneyland. I'm like, I wonder what's your favorite movie or but
Oh
that Lion
gosh,
King, that's
my favorite
classic.
princess is
Yeah.
Cinderella, but what about you? It looks like you got the Avengers back there.
It's all this Groot. He's my favorite character. I think I was trying to debate whether between Pooh Bear and Groot, but my
Oh,
family we all
Winnie the
click
Pooh! Oh my gosh.
my family we all collect Pooh Bears. I think between my sisters and I we probably have 200 Pooh Bear. It's just all my parents added. We have so many of them
Oh,
because
geez.
I have 3 sisters, and then so I was like, should I click the same thing? But I'm like, let me just start doing Groot. So most of the stuff here I got as gifts. Now I'm trying to. It's just kind of funny. I have a personal finance show, but then I have like plushies. But to me,
I
we still got to
don't
balance your
care. I
lifestyle.
love that. If it
Yeah,
were to be like, I am a kid at heart. I really am. Which is, it's a good thing. It is not such a good thing. But, yeah, I mean,
have balance.
Disneyland is like, it's my escape. I love it. I absolutely love it. But I obviously, if I'm serious about doing things, it takes a bit to get there. So that's gas. And then you have to pay for the monthly membership, which I do. Well, I want to say when people are doing something that's more of kind of like a self-help type of an education or some form of entertainment that is for self-help, you want something that's relatable. You don't want like, oh, well, they
Right.
lottery or or of course they are a trust fund child, um and I think it's important to have circumstances or have situations that are relatable and not necessarily, I mean, yeah, you want to make people laugh and you want to entertain people, but there are ways of doing that that are relatable. And and I like that you're honest, and sometimes it's going to be a tough love, and I'm open to it. And like I said, if it scares me and it's challenging, it's worth it. If it's not, if it's kind of like it's kind of like been there, done that, time to move on to something else. So I want to say I was very timid to approach this, because I was like, that means somebody's gonna look at my money and they're gonna, you know, kind of crack the whip, and that's hard for me. So this is totally worth it for me. Especially if you are, and I encourage you to be hard and to question and be like, well, is that something that you need to be spending money on? And it's like, no. But yeah, so I appreciate your approach, and I absolutely love that you are choosing people who have relatable situations. Awesome. Okay, thank you
Okay,
so much. You have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
It's always fun talking to someone that also loves Disney. As you can see, I'm a big Groot fan. Overall, here are the main things that Elizabeth should work on. With her transition to a different career, she needs to work on levels 1 through 5. This includes inventorying all debt. She has car loan debt, but on a call we found out she also has credit card debt. Then creating a budget to cover all of her fixed expenses, rent, insurance, and things such as gas and food. It sounds like she's closing all of her credit cards and not using them, which is great because she racked up some credit card debt. However, it's not beneficial if she's also overdrafting on her checking account. With a budget, she'll be able to live below her means, limiting her spending on food and shopping. Overall, her shopping and food costs are quite low. Even though she prefers to shop at Whole Foods and Erewhon, which are more expensive grocery stores, her spending is very reasonable. I also recommend for her to set up text notifications on her checking account, so if the balance on her checking account falls below a certain threshold, she'll be notified to refill it and avoid overdraft fees. I recommend a threshold of $2,000 because that's how much she spends on rent. Next, we agreed to give it 6 months full-time as an aspiring actor. We need to have the mindset that it's not a failure if November comes around and we're not making enough money to pay off our expenses. Instead, we agreed to pick up work as an esthetician to pay off debt and expenses, while balancing time as an actor. I also try to find synergies between her work, her skill set, and her goals. In this case, I think she can combine her work as an esthetician and find clients in the acting business, perhaps an area that a lot of casting directors and actors go to, and try to network and get more gigs. Lastly, be open to the idea of opening a brokerage account to start investing. But before we get there, we need to have excess money after paying off your expenses so you have money to invest with. In terms of the 15 levels to financial freedom, I would say Elizabeth is about level 2, but can easily become level 8 as she puts a lot of work this year. Lastly, if you're thinking of quitting your job and jumping into something new, I recommend phasing into it. So in Elizabeth's example, I would have recommended to keep her job as an esthetician and try to get clients or network with other actors and casting directors. And when she books auditions or gigs, to pick up less shifts at work so that you have a balanced transition from making money and paying off your bills and not racking up debt while still pursuing your goals and passions. I'd also recommend saving an emergency fund of about 3 to 6 months of expenses. That way, you'll give yourself 3 to 6 months leeway pursuing your passions without any stress. And if after 3 to 6 months, your income's not enough to pay your expenses and you drain your emergency fund, then you can find a new job to recuperate your emergency fund and then reevaluate your next steps.